I took the night shift at the convenience store behind the school. The hourly wage is 25, but no one told me this money is exchanged for my life. My roommate Ajian noticed my long face. He knew I was stressing over my unpaid credit bill. He told me to just get a part-time job. I complained that all the nearby jobs were already taken by other students. That's when he told me about the Kong Qing convenience store behind our school. They were hiring for the night shift from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. at $25 an hour, paid daily. He calculated I could make over $5,000 a month, enough to clear my debt and even have some spending money left over. I worried about the exhaustion of working nights, but he rightly pointed out that being exhausted was better than drowning in debt, and honestly, I didn't have any other choices. I looked at the billing statement on my phone and nodded slowly, my eyes full of helplessness. Later, I arrived at the Kong Qing convenience store. It wasn't big, but it was neat and clean. I turned toward the checkout counter, behind which sat a man with his head down, reading a newspaper. I introduced myself, saying I was there to apply for the night shift cashier position. He asked if I was a college student from the university nearby, which I confirmed. He warned me that the night shift wasn't easy to endure, and that the previous guy hadn't even lasted 2 weeks. When I asked why, he simply said the guy couldn't sleep well at night and couldn't handle it. He introduced himself as Lin Jiangguo and told me to call him Uncle Lin. He said if I really wanted the job, I could start a trial run tonight. I eagerly agreed. Then, his expression turned deadly serious. He handed me a list of rules and told me to remember them clearly, as they were a matter of life and death. Rule 1. After taking over at 11 p.m., check all the surveillance cameras first, especially the one next to the refrigerator. Make sure it's working properly. Rule 2. If a customer buys special items, instant noodles in red packaging, canned herring, or products with human faces printed on them, you must use red plastic bags to pack them. Rule 3. Between 2 a.m. and 3 a.m., if the cash register prints a receipt on its own, regardless of what's written on it, burn it immediately. Rule 4. If the refrigerator door opens by itself, just say, "The door should be closed." Wait 3 seconds and close it. Rule 5. After midnight, do not look at yourself in any mirror in the store. Rule 6. If you hear someone knocking on the back door, check the surveillance first. If there's no one there, don't open it. Turn the music up to the maximum volume until the knocking stops. Rule 7. This is the most important one. At exactly 4:44 a.m., no matter what happens, do not leave the checkout counter. I was terrified. Seeing my reaction, Uncle Lin laughed and said it was just a small ritual for new employees, a joke to liven things up. I breathed a sigh of relief, but he added a chilling caveat. It was best to remember them just in case. As evening fell, the day shift auntie was packing up her things. Seeing me walk in, she let out a strange sigh of relief. She quickly showed me how to operate the cash register and the restocking process. Rushing so much she dropped her phone. She asked if Uncle Lin had told me about the rules. I laughed and said they were just jokes, quite interesting ones. She agreed a little too quickly. "Yes, just jokes. I'm leaving now," and hurried off. I shrugged and started checking the shelves. Deep into the night, the clock struck 11 p.m. I started seriously checking all the surveillance cameras. At 12:30 a.m., a girl in pajamas came in and bought sanitary pads and chocolate. I quickly scanned the items and took her money. I thought to myself, there's nothing to be afraid of, it's just a bit boring. At 1:15 a.m., with a sharp click, the refrigerator door suddenly opened by itself. I froze, remembering Uncle Lin's words. I immediately said out loud, "The door should be closed." I waited 3 seconds, walked over, and reached out to close it. But the moment my fingertips touched the handle, a bone-chilling cold spread through me. I muttered about the AC being too strong. At 2 a.m., the cash register suddenly beeped and spat out a receipt. On it, written in crooked, bloody handwriting, were the words, "She is behind you." I whipped around but saw no one. I quickly took out my lighter and burned the receipt. As the flames flared up, I vaguely heard a faint laugh. "Who is it? Who's there?" I called out, but the store was completely quiet, save for the faint hum of the air conditioner. At 3:20 a.m., a woman in a red dress walked into the store. She asked for a bundle of incense and some candles. As I bent down to find them, I accidentally glanced at the floor. The woman in red had no shadow. I handed her the items, saying the total was 37 yuan. She handed me a 100 yuan bill. When I took it, my fingers brushed against hers. They were as cold as ice. "Has the store changed cashiers again?" she asked. Hearing her speak, I asked a stupid question. "Do you come here often?" "Not often," she replied. "But I've seen the previous night shift cashier." "Then why did he quit?" I asked. She smiled an eerie smile. "Quit? Didn't he tell you? He's right there in the refrigerator, third shelf from the top. fourth from the left. I was stunned. By the time I recovered, the woman in red was gone. On the counter lay some change and a small receipt. On it was written, "The rules are real." At 4:30 a.m., I kept nervously looking at my watch. The 4:44 Uncle Lin mentioned was getting closer. The store was unusually quiet. Even the sound of the air conditioner had vanished. At 4:43 a.m., the refrigerator door opened again. Following the rule, I said, "The door should be closed." I was about to go close it when I saw a figure swaying in front of the fridge on the security monitor. But when I looked at the actual fridge, there was no one there. At exactly 4:44 a.m., all the lights suddenly went out. Only the emergency light cast a sickly green glow. The cash register frantically printed receipts, all filled with the word "run." A loud thump came from the refrigerator like something inside was desperately banging against the door. In the darkness, a wet, sloppy voice sounded right behind me. "Why won't you look at me?" Panic set in. Behind me was a solid wall. Where did this person come from? The voice got closer and closer. I squeezed my eyes shut, holding on to Uncle Lin's words, not daring to take a single step away from the counter. Suddenly, the front door was pushed open. It was the day shift auntie. "Good morning. Why does your face look so terrible?" she asked. I couldn't speak, just shook my head and bolted for the bathroom. Panting heavily against the wall, I looked up at the mirror. The reflection of myself smiled back with an eerie, distorted grin. The auntie knocked, asking if I was okay. I quickly splashed water on my face, and this time, my reflection looked normal. I walked out and handed her a glass of water. She told me I looked awful and suggested I shouldn't work tonight. I asked her if the previous cashier really quit. She nervously insisted he did, but warned me that this job pays well for a reason and that I should stop working here. Looking at her violently trembling hands, I knew she was lying. Just as I was about to go to sleep in my dorm later that day, my phone rang. It was Uncle Lin. He asked if I was coming in tonight. I asked him if what happened last night was just a sick prank. After a few seconds of silence, he simply asked what I saw. I told him everything. The air around me suddenly grew quiet, filled only with the static from the phone. "I'm not coming tonight. Find someone else," I declared. Then I paused. "Wait, I need this job. Tell me the truth. What are those rules really about?" "Those are rules to keep you alive," he replied grimly. "That place is in a special location. Strange things happen at night. Follow the rules, and you'll be safe." The last cashier left the counter at 4:44 a.m. and went missing. The police looked for a long time but never found him. Missing. I sat there in a daze, looking at my phone and then at my crippling credit balance. My eyes grew determined. I went back to the store. Uncle Lin handed me a sealed envelope. "All the rules are in here. Burn it after reading," he instructed. Rule 8. If you see a woman in a red dress, fulfill all her requests, but do not accept any food she offers. Rule 9. Items on the shelves will sometimes move on their own. If you find an extra, special shelf, do not approach it, and do not look at the items on it. Rule 10. At 3:33 a.m., the radio will turn on automatically. No matter what you hear, do not change the channel or turn it off until it stops on its own. Rule 44. Written in red ink. If you decide to run away, the key to the back door is in the second drawer of the checkout counter. But remember, you can escape for a moment, but not forever. It will always find you. I asked Uncle Lin what the last rule meant. As he looked up, I noticed a dark purple mark resembling a noose around his neck in horror. "People who have seen it will forever belong to this place," he rasped. "I'll keep you company tonight. You have to see some things for yourself." At 2 a.m., the cash register spat out another receipt. "She is watching you." I quickly burned it. At 3:33 a.m., the radio turned on by itself, emitting a piercing static mixed with a vague, haunting humming. I gripped the counter tightly until the radio finally turned itself off. At 4 a.m., the woman in red appeared again, staring at me intently. "Give me your name," she demanded. I refused. She said the previous guy gave her his name, and now he belongs to her. She threatened to take me with her if I didn't comply. Remembering Rule 8, I offered her my online screen name instead. She smiled eerily, calling me a liar but promising we'd meet again before vanishing. Uncle Lin commended me for giving a fake name. Just then, he started coughing violently, spitting up dark red liquid, which he casually wiped away like it was nothing. "It's almost 4:44. Get ready," he wheezed. At 4:43 a.m., the lights flickered violently. The refrigerator door popped open, and a foul, damp smell filled the air. The monitor turned to pure static. At exactly 4:44 a.m., the store plunged into total darkness. Only the computer screen at the counter remained lit, displaying a red 60-second countdown. Suddenly, an icy hand grabbed my shoulder. I trembled violently. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw a hidden sticky note on the counter. The real escape route. The back door key is under the cigarette counter. Go out the door, turn left, don't look back. Don't trust the reflection in the mirror from the previous cashier. I couldn't take it anymore. I grabbed the key and bolted for the back door. In the dark, something clammy grabbed my pants. I kicked and struggled violently, finally ripped the door open and rushed out into the night. I fell to the ground outside, panting, alive. Then, my phone buzzed. It was a message from Uncle Lin. "I know you will come back.